Hi guys, so this past week I have gotten actually a few questions about surviving the cold, harsh Finnish winters. And now since I am right now in Finland, and last I checked, I think this morning it was about -14 Celsius. If you are coming from a warmer climate country, either on exchange to Finland or just visiting Finland during the winter time, it can be a bit of a shock, can't it? So I thought I would answer that question and give you my insight on how I survive and how you can also survive the coldness during the winter. Now, I have to say, indoors you don't really have to worry much. Finnish houses in general are pretty well insulated, and I mean, I would be fine here in a t-shirt. I mean, I'm kind of like in a half-cut sweater sort of thing, and I'm perfectly fine. It's even a bit warm. I'm just wearing this hat for show. It's like not a necessity or anything. It's more the outdoors that you have to, bundle up for. And obviously the most important thing is clothing. Layers, layers, layers. That is your key. Now let's start down and work our way up, okay? So for shoes, I would recommend getting some sort of snowshoe, something that is waterproof. Not necessarily like waterproof, but something that you can walk in snow. And because I walk the dog all the time, so I'm outside in like very snowy fields like a lot, so my ones are a bit more on the extreme end, but something like this, which is like just a basic, the brand is called Warma. It's like just a basic like snow boot, which, you can just walk around in the snow and like your feet will stay warm. It's like kind of insulated inside. But something like just like an UGG shoe, like the UGG boots, those will do fine too as well. Lots of people wear those. Just some kind of like more sturdy boot, is recommended for those more cold and snowy days. What people also tend to do is on top of their normal socks, wear a more thick woolen sock. Now the traditional Finnish kind is, the ones made from wool that you put on top of your normal sock and then put inside the boot. But then another kind that they sell in the stores are those like kind of fuzzy socks that people also like to wear these indoors because the floors can get a bit cold sometimes. So you just like wear that on top of your normal socks and your feet will be feeling much warmer. So that is my recommendation for footwear. And then working our way to our legs, people do wear outdoor like snow pants, I think they're called. Like, that kind of wind pants that you put on top of it's kind of like an outdoor pant. Do you know what I'm talking about? Kind of like when you go skiing. Some people do wear those if it's really, really cold, but like on an everyday wear, it's not that practical and it's not so stylish. So a common ulterior to this, is to just wear leggings underneath, say, your jeans. For example, they have special thermos ones, but regular ones do insulate heat quite well. And for example, just like a regular pair of leggings like this, you put those on and then on top of them, you can wear your jeans. It might be a bit hard if you're wearing super, super skinny jeans, but usually there's enough Lycra in them that they do stretch enough. So people tend to wear these underneath, and then it's kind of like a double layered pants. Is that right? Double layered pants that keeps your legs much more warm than if you were only wearing jeans. And then for like your body and stuff, I don't have anything particular to mention except make sure to invest in a good winter jacket. The one that I'm using is one of these classic puffy ones, but it's a good idea if your coat has a hood on it because it will protect you from the wind. The wind chill usually makes the temperature feel much, much colder, so you will really feel much more comfortable in a hooded jacket than if you didn't have a hood. My jacket's also quite long. It goes up to my knees so that, it covers as much body as possible and protects, as much area as possible, so the wind has a harder time reaching my skin. Some people also prefer the hood with the fake fur on it because they say it helps like protect against the wind even more. Like if the wind's coming, it like prevents the wind from reaching your face in an even more effective manner than the non-fake fur one. This is what people look like when they're walking outside, For real. Like, I'm not even joking. Alright, and then moving on from jackets, a hat is always a good idea to make sure your ears are warm. At least for me, if my ears get cold, then usually I get a really bad headache. Like, especially if there's wind and the wind is like going inside your eardrum, it just makes me get a killer headache. So I always make sure to wear a hat. And then a scarf is always a good idea to keep your neck warm. These are all matching really well, but you know, what can you do? And then some mittens. And I prefer mittens because they keep my hands warmer than just like the finger gloves. But another thing people tend to do is wear finger gloves inside their mittens. So you're like double layered hands, again, making your hands even warmer than they would normally be. And it also, they do sell ones that work with smartphones so that, like, for example, if you like to use your phone a lot, you can like take your hand out of your glove and then still use your phone. These ones aren't like that, but they do sell those if that is something that you would find handy. And that is pretty much everything for winter clothing. Another thing I would recommend is reflectors, as it does get very, very dark in the winter times with very few hours of sunlight. And cars do, being a driver myself, cars do have a hard time seeing people on the sides of roads, so please wear reflectors and be safe. Any kind of reflector is okay, like something like this, which is kind of like a strap. You can either strap it around your arm like this, you can strap it around your like handbag, your shoulder bag, like around the whatever carrying part. They also sell these kinds of like clip-ons. Like this, you can clip onto your bag, or you can clip onto like your jacket, or put it on your zipper. You can get cute ones too, like this little owl guy here. But yeah, this is something so when the light reflects on this, like people can see where you're going, and it's a lifesaver, literally. Finally, again, having to do with the sunlight and the amount of sun that you get, it is recommended that you take a D vitamin supplement, as there is very little sunlight, especially if you're coming from a country where it's sunny all the time. It can get a little depressing during the winter months, and you usually do tend to lose energy and you're like lazy, you don't feel like doing anything. They do have these things called, I'm not sure what the official name is, but people tend to call them bright lights, and they're these kinds of lights. You can get them in various sizes and shapes that try to mimic the natural lighting. So yeah, usually in our household, you know, it's like one of the things we put on in the mornings while we're eating breakfast. You know, we'll sit at our table and turn the light on, and it kind of just like helps set the day even when it's really dark and cold outside. Hopefully these tips were at least a little bit helpful. I tried to gather up a few key points that I thought would be beneficial for someone coming from somewhere that isn't used to the cold weather. If you have any more questions, do leave them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them. Besides that, I hope you all have a nice day, and I guess that just about concludes this video, so till next time!